180. That sounds like a 210.
I am looking at my life. It's better than a dream. So many things I prayed for.
Hello,
Are now
everybody.
reality. I'm traveling the road, sharing my medicine.
I'm going to give just a couple minutes to let everyone join.
Supporting healing.
To find a sacred space for you to
The
breathe
world
in.
is a wild and beautiful place. We are constantly evolving as a human race.
Welcome, welcome.
This is a time for greatness. Everyone is invited to embody the light, living life as love and shining bright. The shackles of fear.
And in a couple minutes, I'm just going to give maybe about 1 more minute, let people join, get settled.
No other choice, there is only truth. When I opened my eyes, I was brand new.
Hello, Rose. Hello, Anusha. Hello, Jenna. Linda. Vox Populi. Dana. Charla. And I invite you, if you can, to please turn on your camera so I can see that we have human beings here. We can create community for this time we have together. Hello, hello, hello. We had about 45 people register, so we'll just see if people kind of come. Some people might just watch the replay, so everything is divine and perfect. Want to make sure you're comfortable, you have some water, maybe a journal. If we're going to do a little gratitude exercise in a little bit, and if you want to take any notes. So good to be with everybody. See familiar faces, meet new people. Looks like Liv's coming on. Excuse me. My voice is a little scraggly today, so I apologize for that. The shifts in the seasons. So welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to 3 keys to activate your confidence, self-worth, and inner healing. I'm so excited that you all chose to be here today. I'm Megan Allen. For those who don't know me, I am a shamanic practitioner, a medical Reiki master, and a massage therapist. And it is my absolute pleasure. One of the things I love to do most is to work with clients, to also work with groups of people, to really help people come home to themselves, to come home to the wise heart, to be more comfortable in ourselves and who we are and the unique beings that we are. So no two of us are alike, which I want to celebrate today. And before we dive in, I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. So I invite you to just maybe drop that in the chat so we can see where we are holding down the energy. Welcome. Okay, so I love this. So we've got Detroit, we have Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Ketchum, Idaho, Scotland, Lafayette, Bangladesh, Chicago. Incredible, you guys. I am tuning in from California, from Lafayette as well, actually, like Linda. And we've got Santa Cruz. I love this. I love that, right? One of the many benefits I think of being able to connect online, of course, in person and online, or, we hold those kind of balances, but you can see we have a global community here. And so we're able to connect as if there's no difference between time and space. Welcome, Carolyn. Oh, I'm just going to ask you to please mute yourselves just so we don't have pups in the background, but they're welcome, of course. So today we're going to dive into keys and practices that I found are really an integral part of building your confidence and your self-worth and your inner healing. And these have really changed my life. And so I hope that if anything else today, you maybe glean something new, you maybe have a shift in perspective, have a new, deeper relationship with yourself. This is interactive, so feel free to raise your hand, feel free to, type a question in the chat. I'll be checking that as I go. And so just those who've just dropped on, so if you just want to make sure maybe you have something to take notes with, we're going to do a little gratitude practice in a bit and have some water to stay hydrated. So as we arrive in the present moment, let's ground in. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm also going to call in some sacred space for us, just setting our container and our flow. So inviting you to close down the eyes and to reconnect with the breath, mana, the sacred breath of life. With each inhale, I invite you to take a breath in through your nose and hold at the top. And an audible exhale out through the mouth. And hold at the bottom. We're going to do 4 more of these. In and hold. And release and hold empty. Feel free to shake it out. Creating sound and movement. Helps us to ground. Helps us to move our energy. In and hold. And release and hold empty. And in and hold. And release and hold empty. Let's do 2 more. In and hold. And release. And in and hold. And release. We have a symbiotic relationship with trees and plants. They breathe in what we give off, and we breathe in what they give off. Symbiosis. They say the trees are the lungs of the planet, and the plants are the tiny air filters and purifiers. Honoring this deep connection with the outside nature, as well as that we are nature, experiencing herself in this beautiful 3D human embodiment. We get to be tactile and emote and express our inner desires, tapping into our wise heart, speaking our truth. All is welcome, all is divine. Inviting ourselves and holding ourselves exactly where we are in this moment. All is well, nothing to fix or change. Learning to simply be, being in the present moment. Oftentimes, we may find ourselves depressed, living in the past, trying to change and fix things that have already happened. Or we may find ourselves feeling anxious, future tripping, noticing that this is a sign that we're living in the future. And so as you can see, we kind of have this balance, this, central focal point between the past to the future, which is the present moment. That is a gift. This is where we live out our lives. This is really where life happens. And we may wonder, well, how do I get back to this present moment? And we can connect with the breath of life. For we cannot breathe in the past or the future. Life is what happens from the moment we take our first breath till the moment we take our last. And so tuning into this beautiful cycle and circle of life, of birth, of death, of rebirth. We do this many times throughout our lives. So tuning into our cyclical nature. I'm going to call in the sacred directions. Calling in the east and the element of air, mana, breath of life, and the winds of change. We welcome you into this circle today.
So
Can you
this is where the link
I'm just going to ask everyone to please mute themselves. Thank you. And calling in the south and the element of fire. Thank you, Grandfather Fire, Father Sun, for showing us how to tend to the sacred fire of life, how to tend to the sacred fire within. For a fire that burns too brightly burns out, yet a fire left to smolder dies. Showing us how to stoke our fire, how to tend to our fire, how to channel our fire, our passions, how to regulate our energy, how to transmute our pain, our trauma, our stories into our greatest gifts and allies, to walk within. Fire and transformation, we welcome you into this healing circle today. And calling in the west and the element of water, to the sacred waterways of life, to the oceans, to the rivers, to the streams, to the lakes, to the ponds, to the rains that cleanse our soil and feed our crops, into our inner waterways. May we flow with the river of life into our sacred tears that cleanse our being and help to move our emotions, our energy in motion. Water and flow, we welcome you into this circle today. And calling in the north and the element of earth, thank you, Mother Earth, Pachamama, Mama Gaia, for being our sacred home as we orbit through the Milky Way, and to the wisdom keepers who have buried eggs of knowledge for us to uncover in this lifetime and beyond, and to the mineral kingdom and the stone people, and to our sacred bodies, our beautiful temples that house our minds, our consciousness, our organs, our fascia, our muscles, our bones, our energy field. Earth and grounding, we welcome you into this circle today. As above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. The circle is cast, inviting you to put a hand or two on the heart, tuning into the wise heart, for she knows the way. Connecting us to all the drummers around the world. Letting your heart be your guiding light. In a minute, I'm going to invite you to welcome yourself forward from this grounded space. Maybe gently blinking open the eyes. Welcome yourself forward. I'd love to share a little bit about my story. Today I'm living in flow. I'm in tune with my inner nature, with my inner cycles. And I feel grounded and at home in my body. And I find comfort and peace in the present moment. But it really wasn't always this way. I was a very active child. I played sports every season and took 5 dance classes a week. I loved being out and about and keeping my body moving and spending times with my friends and staying fit. And in my early 20s, I was working with Johnson & Johnson, doing outside sales for Aveeno, calling on dermatologists in the Bay Area and then Chicago. And I would get shipments of about 4,000 pounds every 3 to 4 months of samples and full-size products. And I would go to my locker each quarter, load up my van every few days, and then unload the products and schlep them into my offices. And I would educate the physicians and the staff about the products. And I absolutely loved that part. I loved sharing the knowledge. I loved, believing in my product, being out and about. But it was also kind of like I was a UPS worker in a suit. I was just lifting and moving and, sifting and sorting. And all of this heavy lifting compounded my early wear and tear on my body. And I found myself with bulging discs throughout my spine, all the way from my cervical spine to my neck and moving through my body, which I was always trying to, find comfort in my body. I just felt so uncomfortable. And when I was 28, I was living in Chicago and I had an MRI done. And I remember sitting in Dr. Shepard's office, he called me in, he put it up on the board and he said, "Megan, I looked at your MRI results and I want to tell you, you have the spine of an elderly person and it's not going to be able to change that much." He could give me pain medicine to help manage the symptoms, but that was all it. And I took that for a few years and I felt really defeated. I felt really deflated and depressed. I found myself really contracting. We can notice a lot about ourselves with kind of body language and how we're carrying ourselves through life, which is constantly shifting, right? But just felt really enclosed. Like my body, all I could think about, honestly, was all consuming. And I tried everything to escape this prison of my body. Numbing, distractions. I tried a lot of aggressive treatments like dry needling, deep tissue massage, even really intense TMJ treatment. I got cortisone injections in my neck. I just really wanted the pain to go away. I don't know if anyone can relate. Can anyone relate? Has anyone kind of been working through some pain? Yeah. I see some hands going up. I want you to know you're not alone. And this pain cycle can become, really complex. It's really a connection of the mind, body, and the soul. And sometimes when we're trying to, rid our body pain, we're so focused maybe on, okay, what can I do with my body, right, to get this to go away? But I've found in my journey that this has been about, 20 years now, that it's, of course, an inside job. And it's also, we may access that from the mind, right? We may access from our energy field. So we never know where we're going to be able to tap in and start to unwind, start to become back to ease and flow. And so for me, there was, days where could barely get out of bed. I was depressed. I just wanted to crawl into my covers again to hide and all in contraction. And eventually I became sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I knew deep down there was no magic pill that was going to cure me. No doctor held the key to heal me. And I really wanted to get to the root pain of the disease or the dis-ease, right? Dis-ease, when we find dis-ease in our field, our body, over time, this is where it becomes disease, right? So these are chronic sort of imbalances that then become disease. So I really wanted to get to the root of this so I could unwind the pain and trauma and heal. And I went on a mission to explore more holistic ways of healing my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies in order to heal myself, in order to take my power back. And I began to explore more gentle ways of healing, like Reiki and hypnotherapy and cranial sacral, and power tapping, EFT. And I found my body responded much better. than these earlier aggressive treatments. And I started working with my dear Reiki master, Ava. I went on to study with her later, but I just remember, I'll never forget it. I remember her saying, it was like Dr. Shepherd had cursed me. Because, see, we're casting spells constantly, spelling with our words. Our cells are always listening, right? So we're about 70% of water. And I don't know if anyone has seen the Dr. Emoto studies. Has anyone seen the water droplet studies? Okay, I see a few hands. Yeah, so he has done some profound work that you can look up, but he found, he would speak to water and then he would look at the crystals under a microscope. And he found when he spoke love, he spoke compassion, empowerment, that these beautiful snowflake crystals were forming. And he found when he was berating, negative and, aggressive, that it was like these like shards of glass, this dark energy. So we are energy, right? And this isn't woo, this is physics. As one of the most famous equations, Einstein says E equals mc squared. So energy equals mass, right? Humans, we're mass, we're compounded energy. So, and we'll get to it, throughout our time together today, but really when we can tap into our energy field, that's where these quantum healings happen. That's where like Dr. Joe Dispenza, these miracle healers are talking about. It's going into theta, it's going into the energy field and getting outside of the body and healing so that we can come back and heal in this physical body. So I hope that's, making sense. So I had this dream that if I could figure out how to heal myself, that I could use those tools and techniques to help facilitate others, to help empower others, to help share my knowledge, to help educate others and let them do the healing for themselves, right? So in 2004, I was working in San Francisco for a large event marketing company and sitting behind a computer and staring at the concrete floors and walls. And honestly, it felt like a jail to me. And one day I was in my manager's office, Lisa Van Rosendale, I'll never forget. And she looked at me and she said, Megan, you're miserable. You have a dream of opening a wellness center. Go do that. I couldn't believe it. Here I was, doing sales and operations and, just being more, if you will, in my masculine energy of the go, 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 of the high speed of, taking action, going, creating, and not resting and digesting. So we're always a balance of these yin and yang energies, the masculine and the feminine, right? It doesn't have to do with gender. It just has to do with these energies that we're working with. And sometimes the universe gives us experiences and places, people in our lives to steer us in a different direction, to maybe course correct, to get us back on our life path. So a week later, I took a huge leap of faith. And for the first time, I left my corporate job, my security blanket, in order to fulfill my dream. And, I was like, where do I start? And for me, it was those more gentle forms of massage, of energy work. And so I ended up going to National Holistic Institute here in the Bay Area. And it was beautiful. It was all encompassing. And I studied anatomy and energy work and Eastern and Western modalities. I really fell in love with Chinese medicine and the Eastern holistic approach to health and well-being. And as I learned these techniques and applied them for myself, miracles started to happen. And in this safe learning environment, my nervous system was able to start regulating. And the knots began to loosen and my fascia, and I started to have less pain. And after that, I went on to study Reiki and completed my level 1 and 2 and master trainings. And then I went on to study, sorry, I'm just muting everybody. Then I went on to study medical Reiki to be able to support people in the operating room or people that are supporting, getting ready to go into surgery or recovering from surgery. And, then of course, COVID happened. So there's a lot of red tape. So that dream, part of my dream, is still on, to come. But that's also helped me to realize, again, the power of energy, the power of us taking our power back so that we can know that we heal ourselves. So today I'm really here to share some of these keys that have helped me activate, come back to sovereignty and wholeness, come back to confidence, self-worth, and to really heal myself. So part of coming into sovereignty, coming into wholeness, we hear this word sovereignty, at least I've been hearing it more and more, and it means different things to a lot of people, right? For me, it is this collecting the parts of ourselves to coming back to wholeness and alignment. So we can also start to look at like Western and Eastern medicine and these balances of the polarities that we hold in our world. So Western medicine focuses on treating the symptoms of a condition, looking at a specific body part, often labeling with a diagnosis or giving a pill, followed by another pill to counteract the side effects of the first pill. And so you can see we can kind of get into this cycle. And I'm not saying that Western medicine isn't valuable. It is, and it's also great for surgery. We're so lucky, honestly, to be living right now with this acceleration of medicine, of consciousness, of healing, of spirituality, of self-growth, of self-empowerment. Women have been sort of shushed, closeted for centuries. So a lot of this is carried in our DNA. So we really, a lot of us believe that we came, whether you believe this is your first time here, you've reincarnated, but to really help create these huge shifts. And so you may be finding like, why have I been given these cards? Why is my life at times seeming like such a struggle, such an uphill battle? I think a lot of it is because we're here to create and clear our ancestry lines. We're doing the heavy lifting so that we can start to clear some of these more heavy, dense energies here on this planet, right? Like what's just happened in Israel. I mean, there's just so much it can become, paralyzing at times. And so to hold what's going on at the greater scale, but to know that we really affect change within and with those that we are in communication with, right? So we really need to, for better words, like start putting the oxygen mask on ourselves before we can help others. So when we get distracted in sort of the chaos of the outer world or the news, it tends to oftentimes, exacerbate things. We get in fight or flight. We're like, I can't even think, right? It's just so much energy being input into our systems. So like we started out with, it can even just be collecting, coming back to the breath to clear our energy field. And so whereas Eastern medicine has a more holistic approach to healing, focusing on the mental, the emotional, the physical, the energetic, and even spiritual aspects of a person, and really aims to get at the root, the taproot of the discomfort, the dis-ease. Because as over time, dis-ease becomes disease. So we can really have the ability at any time to heal and to change. And a holistic approach focuses on the whole person, mind, body, and soul. These three aspects of self don't exist in isolation. They really work synergistically. And when you give yourself the optimal conditions to heal, you can heal yourself. Even drinking water, believe it or not, water is carrying so much information. Water is one of the big healers that we have access to. That's, not, completely free, but one of the resources. And, inviting you to also maybe shift your mind around, okay, I like to maybe offer inviting you to say affirmations over your water. Because when we say affirmations, we bless the water. There's these shamanic beliefs and sayings. It's like when we heal the waters, we heal ourselves. And as we're saying, if we're 70% water and the ocean covers about 70%, of the earth. As you can see, it's macro, it's micro. So how can we heal the waters? How can we work to heal the sacred waters of life within and without? And how can we bless our water with gratitude, with affirmations, so that when we drink, when we're tending to our inner garden, right? How are we infusing these blessings into ourselves? And no one does the healing for you, loves. Really, this is the time we're taking our power back. You hold the key to healing yourself. Often a lot of practitioners call themselves healers, and that's up to them. But for me, I don't call myself a healer because I facilitate healing. You are the ones who heal yourself, right? It's a complete inside job. This is not, I go to a healer and they heal me. It really is not that. They might hold the space, right? As a facilitator, I can hold the sacred space. I can be the hollow bone to, channel Reiki down so that you can heal yourself, so that you can fortify your system. So when we look at calling back our power, calling back our confidence, our self-worth, one of the systems we can use is the chakra system of the body. And I'm just going to give a little overview of this just for those who don't know. The word chakra comes from Sanskrit, meaning wheel. These chakras are spinning energy centers that run in your body from your root up through your crown, which energy flows. And we have more chakras as well, but these primary 7 are really what we can affect, in our human life. And these are directly tied to mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual attributes. I like that word. I'm going to keep that in my mind, mental. And each chakra is associated with a color, an element, an organ, a mantra, and many essential oils, in fact, crystals, and affirmations. And these chakras are constantly in flux. That good old saying, the only constant in life is change, which sometimes can be overwhelming, but sometimes we can shift our perspective and say that's actually a blessing because we can always heal ourselves. It's the ability of the body, when given the right conditions to heal ourselves, is a complete miracle. A complete miracle. And we can even look at, just say, we're maybe chopping vegetables and we accidentally cut ourselves, right? Our finger, and it's bleeding. And what do, right? We maybe wash it. We put some ointment on it. We put a Band-Aid on it. We do this for a few days. And then what happens, right? We look down and we're like, where'd the cut go? I don't have it anymore. So thinking of that as an image that our cells, our DNA is always shifting, it's changing, it's healing, it's repairing. And so when we can tap into one of the systems we have in our body, again, natural ability to heal ourselves, are the chakras. And I feel like, they all affect our self-worth, our confidence, our inner healing. But the root is associated with feeling grounded, feeling supported, feeling safe and secure. So really inviting you to tap into your root, tap into your inner alignment and to feel grounded, tapping into Mother Earth, right? Tapping into the support system of nature, really feeling held. And then we move up to the sacral chakra. And this is, the womb space, the portal of creativity, of sensuality, of sexuality, of birthing life, of birthing ideas. It's associated with the water element and flow. And then coming up a little bit more under the ribs, the solar plexus. This is element of fire, channeling that inner fire. Of will, your will to become and to grow and to change. We're constantly becoming and unlearning what we've learned in the first half of our life, unwinding the stories, unwinding the conditioning, so that we can kind of rewind. We can get back on our path. We can heal. Looking at life as more cyclical, which we'll get to in a bit. And this is really also the point of, willpower, our will to keep going. And sometimes we don't want to keep going, and that's okay, right? So giving ourselves permission to be wherever we're at. And this is also really where our confidence comes from, right? Our self-worth. It's like, and as you can see from just these first 3 chakras, we have red, orange, yellow. We have earth, we have water, we have fire. We're turning up the roots, loves. We're turning up the fire from our roots up through the crown. And this fire is then going to ignite the heart, the wise heart. And we can tap into the wise heart. And then from there, we can work through the throat to speak our truth. They say oftentimes women especially develop thyroid issues because we're not speaking our truth. We're so concerned about that we might offend someone, we might say something wrong. Maybe we might get yelled at by a partner, by a loved one, by a boss. And so over time, right, we see children, we can look at children and the little one within, our inner child, they emote, right? They're constantly screaming or getting so excited and shrills. And even from a young age, maybe we were told to shh, right? Kind of the shushing, to be quiet. Be quiet. And over time, we learn to, maybe we can't speak our truth. Maybe we need to hide. Don't look at me. I can't speak my truth. You might judge me, right? And people start saying things in school and we start to make assumptions of ourselves. Our self-worth may start to break down. So building up our confidence and self-worth is a personal journey. It's coming back to wholeness, back to sovereignty. And it's okay to have setbacks along the way. And giving yourself permission as we change, as we evolve, as we grow, to be clumsy. I like to say even this image of like a baby giraffe after they're born. I saw one time, and they like come out of the mother and they've just got these lanky legs and they're like, I can't even barely stand up. And I have this long neck and like, wow, my proportions are off. So whatever feels good to you, but to maybe as you're coming into more your empowerment, your voice, trying these new techniques, inviting you to be really honest with those around you that you're speaking to, that you're having conversations with, and that it doesn't need to be perfect. And I've found that the more I say, hey, I'm a baby giraffe in this. This is a new skill for me. And so this might come off very clumsy, but I want to come here to clean my side of the path, right? I want to have this difficult conversation and see how it goes. The more I think we can look at life in a sense as an experiment, we give ourselves the permission to try things. And maybe it doesn't always quote unquote work, but we glean something from that experience, right? We have a new code that comes in or a new unwinding. So one of the steps to building our confidence and self-worth is really embracing your uniqueness, recognizing that you are both a unique individual and you're also part of the whole. So we're connected and we're also free. We're free, sovereign beings. And so focusing on your strengths and your talents and trying not, I know easier said than done, but trying not to compare yourself. Social media, I think, has really had a huge effect on this. We may be scrolling and we're seeing, oh, this person's, I don't know, in Tahiti, or this person's with their beautiful family. And oh my God, am I ever going to find a partner? Do I want kids? What's wrong with me? And we think of time as linear. And when we start comparing ourselves and thinking of time as linear, then we fall off track, right? And it takes us, oh my God, then I got to catch up. And oh, I thought by the time I was 30, I'd be married with kids and be a millionaire. Oh man, I'm barely surviving. Oh God, I got to come back up, right? It becomes exhausting, and we're also expending a lot of energy. So to really start to more look at the cycles of life, that we can look at energy, time even as kind of those nesting dolls, right? We've got the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days, the years into infinity. Again, going back to science, back to physics of the universe, of sort of the infinite, right? But yet the expanding and contracting that holds us into form. So remembering too that we are human beings. We're not human doings. So many of us get so caught up into doing. What's next? You know, pressures of life, pressures of job, pressures of family. And holding that is okay. That is part of life, right? That's more being in our masculine energy, our taking action, our planning, our doing. But how do we also balance that with being, you know, welcoming the elements of water and earth, so of flow and grounding, and celebrating our successes. I recently shared my experience with this and shared that I had just graduated from my second year of shamanism training. And, you know, oftentimes I wouldn't share that. I wouldn't share that with my community. I wouldn't write a newsletter about it. But I thought, you know what? This is time for me to celebrate and acknowledge myself and to share and to invite others to share. So taking those pauses in the cycle of creation to pause and to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be big growth. It can just be even having a clearing conversation, right? And so one of our keys is also shifting our mindset. According to neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza, we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Welcome, sister. And so, yeah, so Joe Dispenza says we have about 60 to 70 thoughts a day. And 90% of these are the same thoughts as the day before. And so you can see the same thoughts lead to the same choices that lead to the same actions that lead to the same outcomes. So we get in these cycles of doing the same thing over and over and expecting things to change. And when you change your thoughts, you change your behaviors and you change your life. So shifting your mindset involves changing the way you think and seeing how this impacts your life. So this shift involves focusing on positive aspects of your life, such as hobbies, social connections, and other activities that bring you joy. It can also involve practicing mindfulness and relaxation to help you reduce your stress, to manage your pain. So by shifting your mindset, you can gain a sense of control over your pain, over your well-being. It can also help you to feel more empowered, more confident, to be able to cope with the challenges of life, right? Like we're saying, change is inevitable. Challenges are inevitable. And when we can invite ourselves to think about them as challenges, as stones in the road, that my dad used to say to me, Megan, if it's in the way, it is the way. So it is the way forward. It is the way to unlock the healing, right? It is the way to self-growth. So looking at these as, wow, that challenge may have been what actually completely changed my life. Thanking it, acknowledging the pain, acknowledging the trauma, right? Instead of running from it, instead of, so starting to detach ourselves from the story. We are all telling ourselves stories. And one thing I've noticed in talking to dear friends and hearing myself share stories, it's like, oh, there's that story again, right? And so it's okay, but it's just sort of that noticing and then being like, okay, let me come back to the breath, back to the wise heart. And we have the ability to make different choices at each time. so we can rewrite our story at any time and become the Shiro of our journey, right? Taking our power back, standing with our magic wand, saying, this is me, this is my uniqueness. We're also at this point, like we were talking about, this exciting time in life and on the planet. And we're in that age of Aquarius that say that song was created years ago about. The Aquarian in the zodiac is, the humanitarian. It's the eccentric sign, the like letting your freak flag fly. It's the connection, the support over, like the collaboration over competition. So you're starting to see, right, these more singular systems are starting to break down. As we build this new earth together, this evolved earth, we take our power back, we take our voices back, we come together, we say, Dana, I support you in all you're doing, and I can still do what I'm doing, right? You can shine your light, and we can all shine our lights together. The moon and the sun don't compete, right? They shine at different times. Competition is just something that's been ingrained in us. There's room, there's space for all of us, for all of our uniqueness. So some effective ways to shift your mindset. Shifting our mindset can take time and effort. Maybe going back to that baby giraffe example. Eventually they grow and they become more stable and they can walk about life, but it's clumsy at first. So there's several ways to do this. One is reframing your thoughts. This involves changing the way you think about a situation. So again, maybe that story, like shifting your perspective. The neck, believe it or not, is associated with being stubborn, right? So when we're feeling a stiff neck, we maybe aren't seeing all sides of the story. We're also maybe carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. It's like, oh, I wonder why why your shoulders are sore. It's because you're trying to carry all the weight of the world. It's a lot, too much for one person, quite honestly. So letting it go. So example, with this is, instead of thinking, oh, my pain will never go away, I'm so frustrated, it's kind of an absolute, it will never go away. Shifting that time, learning to manage my pain and improve my quality of life, going back to those affirmations. And seeking support. So pain can become isolating. So it's important to seek support from others, from loved ones, from friends, from community, and even a professional if you need to. And understand more what you're going through. And this is one reason why I love, leading group programs and working with clients. It's a way to connect with my community so that they feel empowered, so that they feel supported. We're not really meant, I don't believe, to go through life as lone wolves. Can anyone identify with being a lone wolf and trying to do it all yourself? Yeah. I'm like a full-blown, lone wolf. And it wasn't until even more deep self-journey of healing that I took, and that's actually where I met my dear sister Dana on here. We took an embodied leadership program. And I realized, wow, women empowering women, that feels good. It felt good to be part of a pack. It felt good to say, hey, sister, can I have your support with this? Right now I'm not feeling like I can do life alone, and leaning into it, right? Leaning into the vulnerability, giving ourselves permission to let ourselves be heard and to receive. It's really hard a lot of times for us to receive, right? We can give, we can care about others. Let's start opening up the channels of receptivity. And another is to focus on gratitude. Just saying, the attitude of gratitude. Practicing gratitude involves focusing on the things you're thankful for in life. And this can help shift and transform, focusing kind of from the negative, using the example of pain, but focusing just on the pain itself. When we focus on gratitude outside of ourselves, and it may actually start internal, right? It may be, I'm grateful for my eyesight. I'm grateful to breathe. I'm grateful that all these systems under my skin are helping me be here today. Or it may be that I have a roof over my head. clean drinking water. I forget what huge percentage it is, but people don't even have clean drinking water on this planet. Being grateful that you even have water coming out of your tap, honestly. So I'd love, practicing gratitude has really completely changed my life. When I hit rock bottom in 2019, my mom gifted me a gratitude journal, and I spent 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes, writing in my journal. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. It's a great way to start the cadence of your day. Maybe doing some deep breaths, maybe doing a little meditation, grounding into your body, and doing some gratitude journaling. So I'd love to just take a minute, if you have a piece of paper or journal, and just to write 5 things you're grateful for. They can be small, they can be big, just inviting you to be in creation of gratitude. So I'll give us about a minute to do so. Okay, loves, I'd love for you, I know time flies. No, I'd love for you to maybe drop one thing in the chat that you're grateful for, that we can celebrate you today. Oh, I love that, my cuteness. Anushka, we celebrate you for that, sister. Yes. Sharla, celebrating you for that you know your purpose. Celebrating you, sister. Live, having access to education. Yes. Ooh, these are powerful. Vox, my drive and determination. Dana, oh, love, getting to witness my Megan in her element as a teacher. That was unexpected. Thank you. Raquel, spaces like this where I feel calm and grounded after an anxious morning. Welcome. Welcome to this sacred space, Raquel. For all of you is welcome. Ashby, I'm grateful for my real friends. Yes, can take time to find them, right? Rose says my humor. And boy, are you funny. Yes. And my dear soul sisters, yes, you are. Jenna, to be able to be with my family right now. Aho. Malia, connection to nature. Yes, 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 yes. Carolyn, that my kids are hopeful for the future. And trust me, yeah. It's really powerful, The kids have such an element of hope. We can learn so much from them, right? And Nick says, finding my people here today in this group. Oh, yes, welcome. All of you is welcome. And just taking a moment to really sit in this, to sit in what you just received, what you heard, what you shared, being acknowledged, being validated, being welcomed just as you are. Nothing to fix or change, honestly. And Ashby says, I'm grateful for my ability to follow my dreams and my continued belief in myself to achieve my goals. Yes. And as you can see, we're all a reflection of each other as well, right? I'm sure you heard things in there that was like, that's what I'm grateful for too. Yes, being unique and individuals and being part of the whole. So another element of this is, and coming back to sovereignty, is really the power of forgiveness. You know, the power of forgiveness, the power of forgiving others. And honestly, maybe even harder, the power of forgiving yourself. Oof, wow, you know? The power of saying, I don't have to carry that burden anymore or that choice I made 10 years ago. Let it go. Let it go, sisters. Let it go, let it flow. You know, you might not let it go all at once, right? But just the power of forgiveness. The power of one of the parts of coming back to sovereignty and wholeness and confidence and self-worth is like having clearing conversations. My mentor talks about it's how do we, again, baby giraffe, say, hey, I'd like to come to you and talk to you about the situation that happened. And I'm not going to place outer blame. I mean, you don't need to say that, right? You can if you want. But I'm going to say, you know, I'm here to say, this is where I take my responsibility, right? This is where I clean up my side of the road. And it may be in that moment that the other says something. And maybe they say, They say, okay. And they're like, okay, where do I go from here? You know, maybe they say, actually, I want to apologize for something. I want to take ownership of something, right? And it may be that they don't say anything ever, right? And so that's the power, as you can see, is as we're kind of cutting cords of where we've been giving our power to outside sources, seeking constantly external validation. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? How do we cut those cords? And how do we clear our energy field and come back to alignment, back to sovereignty, back to wholeness? And really, I found one of those most powerful things. And again, I've done it, so that's why I'm sharing it. Having those conversations. And it's okay to be shaking. It's okay to call that into the space too. You know, I feel super nervous to bring this to your attention or, you know, to talk to you about it. But knowing deep down, right, that that's going to help you to heal. That's going to help you to feel more whole and more complete. So that's another one of our keys. And sorry, I have more than 3. So just if you're trying to keep track, don't forget the numbering, I'd say. I was like, okay, I'm just going to have 3 or 5 or 7. So, you know, here we go. Thanks for being here. Is there any questions so far? Sorry, I know I'm like, you can tell I'm so excited and passionate about this that like I'm sharing a lot. Or does anyone have any questions? Or are you all with me? Yeah. Oh yeah, Dana, please unmute yourself.
So let's say you're in fight or flight and you're in the repeat. And it's the same thought that's been going on. Just name a key, like in that moment to shift. How do you? How do you? Or what are a couple of the things that you do in that moment to say, Danes, wham, wham, get it together, you know?
Yeah.
So that you don't keep repeating that manic pattern.
That is a great question.
Okay.
So I think, no, you're welcome to keep going, sister. So I think, yeah, feel free to stay muted for this. I think that this is going to sound, you're like, oh, that's basic. One of the things, honestly, is to notice, like you're saying, to notice that my heart is racing. to notice that I'm future tripping, right? So to notice our own symptoms and to try not, if we can, to label, to diagnose, to say, oh, there's something wrong. Most of us are walking around this planet with a very unregulated nervous system. I have been in fight or flight most of my life. We feel like there's a rush. We feel like we're in survival. Let's be honest, you guys, let's literally call it out. Most of us are running the hugest survival programming, maybe of all time. I mean, okay, I don't have all time, but right. We have these underlying programming. And so noticing the symptoms, Dana, of, okay, I'm looping, right? I'm looping. And how do I get out of that looping? Something we touched on earlier. Honestly, it's coming back to the breath. It really is. I don't know what to do. I don't know my mind. So, right, if you think about it, how beautiful the mind, with all the thoughts we were talking about, 60 to 70,000 a day, it's meant to think, right? We want it to think, but it's the monkey mind swinging from branch to branch. And it's going to keep going. It's going to be oh, let me think about this. Oh, let me think about that. So we've got to create the pause through meditation, through breath work, really through doing some clearing deep breaths like we opened up with. Again, a free tool, right? That's a clearing breath that I really like. Another one, a regulating breath I learned in my shamanism training, is a quick inhale through the nose. Sorry, I've had sinus surgery, so it sounds a little weird, but and then like you're blowing through a straw, a long exhale. Which actually leads us to one of our other keys, quite honestly, which is
That's my job. It was to lead you into the next one.
I know. I was like, yeah, keep me going, will you? And I'm like, oh my God, how is it already 11? Okay. Yeah, no, literally. So I am going to jump to that key. So regulating the nervous system, it's an important part when you have pain. It's just an important part of life. Like we're saying, to get out of survival mode, to get out of fight or flight, and to re-engage the parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest. I think so often people are getting, a stomach issues, feeling sick to their stomach, feeling nerves, because they're not only not digesting their food. The job of the small intestine is the decision maker of okay, this is nutrients. I'm going to let it absorb. And this is, and I appreciate your comment box. I'm going to get to you in 1 second. Yeah, it's but are we digesting life? This concept has really changed my life. Are we letting the emotions flush through us? Because if we start to look at Chinese medicine and working with the meridians, say the liver, and we'll get to more of this, and I'm going to be actually leading a program coming up, which we'll share about in a little bit, but the liver and the gallbladder are yin and yang pairs in Chinese medicine, and they're associated with anger. And the liver meridian goes from our big toe to right in our stomach area. So allowing, for example, if we're feeling angry and frustrated, naming it and then processing it. So it's that processing piece, right? It's not just okay, that's anger. It's okay, then in this case, maybe I'm going to send my anger through my liver meridian, through my knee and out my big toe. Empowering myself. Fear is stored in the kidneys. So in that case, we can warm up our hands if we're feeling and we can place them right below our ribs on our back to our kidneys. That's also going to help to regulate the nervous system to get out of fight or flight. Let's all do that right now. So we're going to warm up our hands. Again, free medicine. We don't have to carry any tools or anything. And placing them on the kidneys. And this does no harm, right? Of course. So it's actually another technique my dad taught me. Thanks, Dad. So your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys. fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. Warming up the hands, placing them on the kidneys. And Vox, and I apologize, I know that's not your first name because it says legal services, but if you want to change your name on there, if not, that's okay. Oh, Nicola, thank you, love. Okay. So yeah, you were saying kind of right, I think as you were hearing this unregulated nervous system of noticing yourself not eating. Yes. It's and again, if we can kind of shift, so I think a lot of time nerves, right? The feeling of nerves, even, little children, like, I feel sick to my stomach. Have you guys heard of the vagus nerve? So for those that maybe aren't familiar, the vagus nerve goes from your brain through your heart into your gut. It's one of the most powerful connections. And we actually have more pathways going from our gut up to our brain than our brain down to our gut. That's why it's very important. And you're going to notice a shift in your overall feeling, Nicola, as well as your able to digest food, digest life. It's drinking water. It's taking prebiotics and probiotics, because it's about 90% of your serotonin, your happy, hormones are located in your gut, not your brain. So the gut biome, another phrase you may have heard, it's a very important connection to help to tend to. And going back, Raquel, you had a question. How can you tell the difference between anxiety and intuition? Oh, that's a good question. Let me tune into that. One thing that's coming to my mind is noticing where you feel this in your body. So again, kind of where you're saying, like, notice, name, kind of move through. Anxiety can come. So to me, I think of maybe anxiety as in the mind, also in the gut, right? When we're feeling kind of, or in the heart. It's part of, Raquel, it's part of saying, where is this anxiety coming from? Because a lot of times anxiety comes from trying to change things that are outside of ourselves. And we really can't, do that, right? It's up to another person, or, up to the news to stop blasting us with all this like intensity, I'm not saying that's where your anxiety is coming from. Maybe it's work, right? Pressures. But so, anxiety, I would say, really is a symptom of future tripping. It's of catastrophizing, right? It's of the going down that cascade of the slippery slope argument. Well, then if this happens and this is going to happen and this is going to happen, right? And as you can see, when I'm talking, my nervous system is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So coming back even with this to the breath, coming back to, okay, let me tap in with my 5 senses. This would be helpful here, I think, tapping into your 5 senses, even your 6th sense of intuition, which you brought in, and saying, and one of my incredible therapists taught me this, then in that moment, naming 5 things, naming a thing you can see right in this moment, right? So right now I'm like looking at this beautiful orchid right here. So I see the beautiful purple orchid. I hear the rustling of the leaves. I feel warm. Maybe it is, I feel, anxious, again, calling out what it is, right? And then touch, something I can touch, really, literally. Right now I happen to be sitting on my comfy couch because I live in a studio. So it's just where I don't have a desk right here. I only have a table in front of me, but it's okay. I can feel this softness of this couch. What can I taste? So that's the other one, right? Water. I don't know, my saliva. What can I taste? So when you're finding yourselves in these spirals, coming back to those 5 things. And as you can maybe start to notice, right, these quick, potent, powerful techniques, right? We don't have to spend millions of dollars on this. It's like, okay, all that took, right, was maybe a minute. And your intuition, right? So your intuition, and when we can look at the chakras also as a system, your third eye, your deep seat of intuition. And what about what else we talked about? Your wise heart. So keeping this channel of the throat chakra, Vishuddha, open, flowing, it's color blue, flowing like water. Keeping that mind, body, heart connection. Heart Math does a lot of research on the mind, body, gut connection. So, and so I'd say sometimes too, it's like, okay, when our mind is racing and when we're in fight or flight or anxiety, we're not going to be hearing our intuition, honestly. You know, we might be hearing seeds of our intuition, but you know what I mean? It's like hard to decipher, to sift and sort. And so, yeah, inviting yourself to say, okay, let me come back to the wise heart. Quite honestly, you guys, it's one of the first developing organs in utero. It knows your entire life story. So instead of asking for external stuff, we're asking our wise heart. And I want to get to that in a minute. We're going to do a little meditation to connect to that. But does that answer your question, Raquel? I hope. Thank you, sweetie. Okay. And you can, I'll be sharing my information too in an email. So you're welcome. My pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. And Liv, you asked, this is related to, or is this related to what we've talked about a bit already? But, but how do you know when to address your anxieties or put it to rest by stopping those thoughts, for example? So, okay, yeah, and Kelly's saying about anxiety. To me, anxiety affects my bowels. Yes, sister. Leaves me in question. Intuition feels like a knowing. Yes. Yes, I love that you brought that piece, love. Intuition is that deep inner knowing. That without a shadow of a doubt, I know something because I know it and I don't have to question, right? And it's okay to not be able to explain it. Beautiful. That is your intuition. It's your gut reaction, right? It's the first thought that pops in a lot of times before we have time to perseverate and think about all the other things that it may be, right? And I'm getting to both these. It's like the bowels, of course, yes. So we were talking about the small intestine. And then the large intestine is being passed off to the large intestine. So once we've kind of internally decided, right? Like, are we going to hold on to this grudge? Are we going to be stubborn? Well, then what's going to happen? We're going to have constipation, right? Am I going to let things flow? I've really found a profound difference lately and I've been doing this for a few years, but saying my gratitude, and for me also doing Reiki, but over my food. And when I do that, I'm thinking whether, like, say, I don't know, I'm eating fish and vegetables and so forth, right? Or rice or something. It's like, I'm thanking the animal, I'm thanking the vegetable, I'm thanking the farmers, I'm thinking maybe it's a chef if I'm out, or I'm thanking myself, right? And one of these key components that relates to this, I've been noticing, I say, may I absorb any nutrients I'm meant to? And if anything does not agree with me, may it pass through easily to be composted into new life. And Liv, you were asking, yes, so about kind of when to address your anxieties or when to put it to rest. So we're talking about the brain, right? The brain is like in this whole like part of our reptilian brain, the amygdala, it's our fight or flight response. it's where what developed back in the day when people actually were running from like tigers and bears, right? It's that part of your system that is causing the, anxiety, right? It's the fight or flight, so part of it is your brain honestly doing its job in some cases. So when we can stop and maybe notice those 5 things, right? Or stop and, kind of reprogram of like, what can I see this? It's practice. All of this is practice. It's experiment. It's seeing what works well for you. But it's okay, let me pause and let me think, is this anxiety coming from within? Or is it maybe even an energy I picked up from someone that I talked to or were in contact with? So first of all, where is it coming from? And then do I have the ability to change? Right? If it's coming from someone else's energy, no, I can't change it, but I can change how I react. And so I think, and then maybe kind of what we were touching on earlier, and like you were saying, it's probably related. It is all related. It's like, if it's in the way, it might be the way. So fears and anxiety, a fear can be like false evidence appearing real. I mean, it's just one acronym, but it's these fears, I think, are these signs, these symptoms of showing us that something in our field, in our body, is out of balance. Right? So saying, hey, thank you, warning sign. Thank you, trigger, for showing me that there's something else that I need to tend to. Something maybe in my inner child that I need to heal. Something that maybe do I need to forgive myself for? Or forgive another? Does that answer your question, Liv and Kelly? Did you guys feel complete? You're welcome. Oh, and Kelly gives a recommendation, a book. Oh, yes, I keep hearing about that. Women Who Run with Wolves. I've got to read that. Yes. Okay. Oh, and Sessions with Megan. You're so sweet. Yeah. I mean, please. Yeah. I'm here to help. I really am. One of my greatest things is to be of service. So, whether it's booking a free discovery call with me or booking a, one-on-one, I do Reiki sessions via Zoom, so I can work with you wherever you're at. Listen to on Audible, Clarissa voice. It's so juicy. Okay. And Raquel, you had asked, how do you come to trusting your intuition? Time. It's this big piece of sovereignty. It's the big cutting the cords from all these places we've been throwing our power away. And to be able to then come and quiet down and say, Raquel, how do you feel about that? Like, right? How do I feel about that? Not how does my mother, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, teacher feel about it? How do I feel about it? And then you're going to start to, as we clear the body through the chakras, I mean, is one way, and through breath work and through energy clearing, that's how you're going to be able to then really reconnect with your intuition. Does that make sense? That's okay. I saw the raise hand, lower the hand. No, that's fine. Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at time, and time is flying by, loves. Time's flying by. We have about 10 minutes left just to ground us into that. I want to be, of course, mindful of everyone's time. We're going to keep going. We're going to see as much as we can get in 10 minutes. And I'll kind of, do a reconnect at 11:30. And if there's some things some of us want to stay on for, please do. And if some people have to hop off, we're recording this, so you'll get the recording. A heart meditation, please. Yes. Okay. Love that. See, she's really keeping me on track, sister. Okay. So, yes. So before so that was actually the last So before we do a little heart meditation, I would, as you guys are getting the feeling that I'm passionate about these things, that this is my life's work, supporting and empowering women to really break free from the cycles that have maybe bound us, that have kept us, that have kept us stuck, that have kept us, maybe giving our power away, seeking to outside sources as opposed to inside sources. So for one concept too is like, for all of the questions we ask outside, we have all the answers within. That's like, whew. It's just we can't always hear them. We can't always know them. So I'm really passionate, about helping us to connect with our natural rhythms and flow so we can create, life of ease and flow. And so I'm really excited. You guys are some of the first people that I'm sharing with, that I'm pouring my 10 years of being in practice with my mind, body, soul wellness business. But really, it's a lifetime of 40 years of, I'm putting this into my first solo-led group program that's called Sacred Alchemy. And it's going to be a 2-month experiential journey of self-healing, discovery, and transformation. We're going to shed the layers that no longer serve. We're going to learn to reconnect with the wise heart, to learn to transmute, to be with our pain, our trauma, and transmute that through the fire into our greatest allies, to call all parts of ourself home, to learn to speak our truth, to come into sovereignty and wholeness and reclaim our power, to sync with the cycles and the seasons of the earth and the moon so that we can live in flow. And this journey is going to begin on Tuesday, October 24th. So 2 weeks from today. We're going to meet weekly for 9 weeks. And we're going to open up on the 24th with an opening ceremony. And then week by week, we're actually going to start from the root chakra. And each week we're going to work on, as a lens, that's going to be one of our lenses. We're going to be working through and clearing, and also working through with what comes up there. We're going to do practices and home work. So to really integrate, and everyone's going to have a sister and ally to be able to also connect with weekly at a time that works for you. And so we're going to do that through those 7 weeks. And then we're going to come to, as even life is a ceremony, we'll come and we'll finish up on Tuesday, December 19th, when we conclude our journey with our closing ceremony. So we're going to have 2 ceremonies, 7 weekly calls, 1.5 live group mentorship calls with me. And all the calls are going to be recorded. There'll be weekly home play, as well as a downloadable chakra clearing guided meditation by me, as well as one private one-on-one session with me. And really, I've been getting experience, even with one session, has the potential to completely change your life. Just with able to be connecting with someone, feeling supported, feeling guided. And so the value of this, really, it's hard to put a value on anything. And all people have a hard time doing that because I'm such a giver, but the value is about $1,200. The full price is $997, but right now I'm offering an early bird pricing for $777 up until October 15th. So in the next 5 days, or 3 payments of $259. And if any of this calls to you, and it's okay if it doesn't, and it's okay to explore and then say it doesn't, for me at this time, we can also discuss if, say, you needed a longer payment plan or something. I want this to be affordable. It's all workoutable. It's all workable. So if you're interested in learning more and just seeing, again, connecting with me one-on-one, seeing if this may be right for you, and maybe it's not right now, and that's okay. Maybe you want one-on-one support, or maybe this is just this free call might be able to just say, hey, Megan, this is where I'm at. And do you have any tips for that? And so these Sacred Alchemy free discovery calls, again, no strings attached, are completely free. They're an hour long because I really want to be generous with my time. And I'm going to put the link in my chat. I'm also going to I'm also going to share it in the replay. So those are free calls to connect and to explore if Sacred Alchemy is right for you, and to also just get tips and support. So encourage you, I have a limited number of spaces, but encourage you to reach out. And you can also respond to my emails as well, or even give me a call. My cell phone's in my signature if you need support. So I'm here for you, sisters. And with that said, let's flow into a little meditation. Oh, you're welcome, Liv. So much love to you. So we're at 11:26. Do you guys have, let's see, let me tune in. Do you have 10, 15 minutes? Is that, yeah, some do, some don't. Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I know she's busy. She has events. So it's like, yeah. Well, we'll try to do a meditation about 5 minutes, and then I just want to come into a closing circle. But so just know if that's okay. We did on the next about 10 minutes, maybe 15. And for those two that will end up needing to hop off. And I'll stay also a little longer to open up the floor for questions and stay as long as I need to. So anything we touched on earlier, anything that's coming up. Okay, love bugs. Get comfortable. Is the volume of the music, hear me over the music, or is it too loud? Turn it up? No, it's good. Oh, it's good. Oh, I know the thumbs up. I'm like louder. Okay. Which way, Dana? Okay, love. 1 second. Sorry, my end. It's so loud. Can you still hear my voice? Technology. It's the different speakers. Okay. Closing down the eyes. Reconnecting with the breath. Mana, breath of life. With each inhale, bringing in fresh energy and oxygen. And with each exhale, releasing anything no longer serving. Thoughts, events, emotions simply slipping away. Breathing in and holding. And release. And hold empty. And in and hold. And release and hold empty. And in and hold. And as you exhale, bringing your energy down to your feet. Inviting you to picture some nice supportive roots coming from the bottoms of your feet. Rooting down through the floor below. Down through the top few layers of soil. Down many miles deep into the earth. Connecting with the wood wide web, where all the trees and plants and fungi communicate from around the world. Sending signals of their environment, sharing nutrients, composting what no longer serves to create new life. Thanking the mycelial network, the mushroom kingdom, for being the great composters of the earth. And traveling down further into the core of the earth. Seeing Mother Earth's beautiful rose quartz crystalline heart. Maybe wrapping your root around her heart. Feeling the ions from the earth, recalibrating your system. Feeling the support from below, ancestors supporting from behind, friends supporting side by side. and a clear path to do whatever you wish. Breathe and walk. Breathe and walk. Breathe and walk. And beginning to draw up this Mother Earth, this yin energy, the feminine energy, up through your roots, cleansing and clearing and grounding, up through the bottoms of your feet, up through your ankles and your calves and your shins, and up through your knees, and up through your hips, and up through your pelvis and your yoni. Mother Earth, yin, healing, supportive, grounded energy. Coming up through the roots, feeling supported and secure and safe. Coming up through the sacral, being connected with your womb space, the portal of creativity, of creation, cleansing and clearing and activating. Coming up through your solar plexus, clearing and cleansing your digestion, clearing your will to become and to grow, to give yourself permission to change. Coming up into the wise, beautiful heart, for she knows the way. Inviting you to tap into the 4 chambers of the heart. Clearing the veins and the arteries, clearing the pathways, so that this beautiful internal battery can be recharged, can be cared for. Opening the pathways. Opening the pathways to forgiveness, to compassion, to the messages from within. Picturing vibrant emerald green, deep emerald green, clearing and cleansing the heart chakra, extending out 6 feet in all directions, cleansing and clearing your aura. And then bringing in pink rose quartz for love, love of self, for love of others. Offering in this moment a healing to your heart. Wise heart, I feel you. I feel you beating in different patterns, telling me to be aware, telling me to be alert, showing me that I'm calm, I'm at peace, I'm in flow. I'm flowing with the river of life, flowing with the cycles, tuning into my natural rhythms, my natural energy flow. And in this moment, asking yourself, heart, what message do you have for me in this moment? And listening to what pops into focus. Beautiful. Bring your energy maybe somewhere else on your body, like your shoulders or your womb. Body, what message do you have for me in this moment? And listening. And coming up into the third eye, by way of the throat, opening the passage of the throat from the wise heart, tapping into your deep seat of intuition, your biggest eye, in a sense, your third eye, deep seat of intuition. You are wise. You hold the answers within. You're right on track. Your intuition is right. Your wise heart is right. Clearing and cleansing your intuition. And coming up and through the crown and connecting with your higher self, your soul. Soul, what message do you have for me in this moment? Thanking your heart, thanking your body, thanking your intuition and your soul, your higher self. Bringing these messages into every cell and pore and into your DNA. And coming back into the wise heart, placing both hands on your heart. Thank you, heart. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for thriving. Charging the heart with minerals, mineralizing our batteries. Staying hydrated and in flow. Movement. And picturing the light of your sun, the light of the sun coming in through the third eye and filling every cell of your being, lighting up, healing, activating, bringing the sun within into the solar plexus, into our confidence and our self-worth. We are empowered. We are unique. Our voice is meant to be heard. We feel supported and we feel connected. And coming in back into your body and into your roots, feeling rooted into the earth, feeling connected and free. Thanking the north and the element of earth. Thanking the west and the element of water. Thanking the south and the element of fire. And thanking the east and the element of air. As above, so below, as within, so without, and as the universe is, so the soul. The circle is open, yet never unbroken. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Hojona Eshkli, Hojona Eshkli, Hojona Eshkli. Aho, all is beautiful again. Welcoming yourself forward. Thanking your mind, body, and soul. And I invite you to maybe just say how you're feeling in the chat. Or maybe a message you received or a feeling you're experiencing in this moment. Clarity. Beaming you with clarity. That's what Malia says. Dana, peaceful and really grounded. Charla, serenity. Live, I feel balanced and at ease. Jenna, calmness. I got the message. You've got this. And yes, you do. You've got this. You have all the tools within. You hold the key within. Oh, beautiful loves. This has been an absolute honor and pleasure to be your guide today. I know we covered a lot. I'm just going to open the floor and allow you guys to, oh, Ashby, sweetheart. Yeah, let's read what you just said. I'm crying. I realized I'm carrying a lot of emotional pain that I need to release. Holding you in your grief, sister, in your emotional pain. We've got you. Your sisters are here supporting you. You don't need to do it alone. Nick, I'm crying too. Yes. Your sacred tears are welcome. All of you is welcome here. I'm just going to put my link again in the chat for those that want to reach out and get support. I want to thank you all for being so present and so alive and so vulnerable. I know it's not easy. And I'm going to put a little song on that we can just kind of wiggle and dance out to. And as we fade out, feel free to drop off. And just want to thank each and every one of you for bringing your energy, for bringing your light. After the song, I will stay on for a few moments if anyone's still here. So just know if you want to, connect one-on-one or ask anything, we'll do that. But thank you again. Feel free to watch the replay. I'll have it up for the next till Friday. And thank you so much. Love you, sisters. Love each of you. I'm just gonna play a fun song. You are welcome, Charla. Thank you. You're welcome, Malia. You're welcome, Ashby. I'm so happy you were able to come in. Yeah. Taking time for you, love, so that you can continue to give. Little rising Appalachia. Resilient. I'm gonna invite you to just kind of stand up and wiggle. Feel free to close your eyes.
I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos. Uplift the negative.
Receiving the codes within the
Show up
song.
at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. 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 These times are poignant. The winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out fronts. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. all together make a mighty roll.
Up on our left, like 30 seconds of the song. Let it out, sisters.
I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos. Uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
Ooh, that felt good.
What was the song called, honey?
Ooh, that is Rising Appalachia, and it's called Resilient.
That's so good.
Do you have Spotify? Because I can put it in the chat.
Well, I
No.
do, but I don't know how to get it from the chat to me, so no worries, I'll find it.
Oh, no worries. Okay. Yeah. I know.
You remember, I'm not that good at that stuff.
No, just a little challenge, a little stone in the road.
Oh, thank you, Ma. What a beautiful morning.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you for, being here, being so present. And I'm gonna stop the recording now. And if anyone let's see. Yeah, so thank you for those that were watching the replay. We love you. We're just gonna stop on and have a little chat, those of us that are still here, but thank you.